What's going on, everyone? Hope you're doing well. Today on English TV Live, Lloyd and I talked about phrasal verbs with take. I'm going to play the replay of today's show for you, but if you would like to catch us live, we are live on Facebook from Monday to Thursday at the same time every day. All of the links that you need are in the description of this video, and if you haven't already, consider joining the waitlist for our private English community that we will be launching to the public very soon. Lots of cool stuff coming. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and I will see you later. Yes, so welcome everyone officially to this episode of English TV Live. Today, we are going to talk about phrasal verbs with take. Phrasal verbs are incredibly important to master. They're going to help you sound more natural in English. They're going to help you sound more like a native English speaker. We are thrilled that you are here.
Exactly. If this is your first time seeing these two faces, this face is, if I'm pointing in the right direction, his name is Jacob, my name is Lloyd, and we are the founders of English TV Live, your #1 resource for live English lessons. So if you have not joined the waitlist, I'm just going to say one more time, go to EnglishTVLive.com and join today, and we will keep you updated.
So why don't we start with our first phrasal verb with take. Now, we asked our private community to tell us about something that they would like to take up sometime soon, something that they would like to take up. We're going to ask you guys the same thing right now. What's something you would like to take up? Now, if you don't know what take up means, if you don't know what it means to take something up, my friend Lloyd here is going to explain that for you right now, to take something up.
Okay, so to take up means to start learning something new, to start something new, usually for a hobby. So you take up a new hobby, you take up a new passion, something you've been wanting to do, and then you take it up. So it's a separable phrasal verb, you can take it up, but usually I'd say probably we say it after the phrasal verb. So I'd like to take up tennis, I'd like to take up the piano, I'd like to take up golf. Something that you haven't learned before that you would like to start learning, to take up.
So for example, today, this is what I mentioned earlier. I signed up for a gym pass recently, and included in my gym membership is the opportunity to take hot yoga classes. Now, I would never consider taking hot yoga classes were it not included in my gym membership, but because it's offered to me for free, I'm thinking about taking up hot yoga. I think I'm going to try.
What is hot yoga? What is that?
You've never heard of hot yoga?
You're gonna have to let me know. I don't know what is. I mean, it sounds interesting.
It's essentially yoga. It's essentially yoga, except in a really hot room. So it's more difficult because you're in a very hot room. You sweat a lot, and I think that's really the only difference. It's just the room that you do it in. It's hot.
Hot yoga. All right. So everybody, if you think that Jacob should take up hot yoga, let us know in the comment box below. It could be an interesting image. Jacob in the yoga pants in the hot. No, maybe not. Yeah. So
I'll just be wearing gym shorts. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I'm going to try and remove this image from my mind. Yeah. So to take up. So you're thinking about taking up hot yoga. Have you? Now, in the past, or the present perfect, you could say, I have taken up, blah, blah, blah. So, have you taken up anything recently, Jacob?
Not really. Which, I mean, maybe I probably have. Nothing is coming to mind right now. Nothing too new. But yeah, I can't think of anything off the top of my head. Yoga will be.
Why don't we look at the comments then and see if there's some examples we can get from the comments?
I've got one from our private community here.
Yeah, sure.
Tony says, I would like to take up painting classes in my spare time because I can learn abstract concepts which can only be reflected through art. Wow. Very profound.
Okay, so Tony is a private member in our Facebook group, and he actually posted a picture as well, didn't he? In that comment, he posted a picture.
He did.
of his art. So he's taken up art recently.
Do we see any in the live comments? Let's see. Adrian says, I'll take up with my learning English. I'll take up with my learning English. How could we say that in a better way?
So you wouldn't say I'm taking up doing something, okay? You would just say the subject, the activity in one word. You wouldn't say I'm taking up learning something. Just say I'm taking up English, right? I'm taking up English. I'm taking up, I don't know why I keep thinking of golf. I'm taking up, examples are not free-flowing at the moment. Taking up a new hobby. I'm taking up programming. I'm taking up photography. I'm taking up whatever it happens to be. So when you have a new skill that you would like to acquire, you take it up. Take up.
I see. Ramas says, I've taken up Greek classes. Oh, wow, the comments are coming in fast. Taken up Greek classes recently. Say I've taken up Greek. Would you say I've taken up Greek classes? Does that sound okay to you?
I would say just I've taken up Greek. Just Greek,
Yeah, I would
without the
say
classes. I've taken up Greek. I've taken up English. If you're going to talk about a language, just say the language, not the class. It's like yoga. You wouldn't really say I've taken up yoga classes. You just say I've taken up yoga. So you would just say the subject without the classes.
Same with Pimprapa. Oh, that's a tough name. Pimprapa. I would like to take up cooking. Don't say I would like to take up cooking class. Say I would like to take up cooking. It'll sound more natural. Why don't we move on to the next phrasal verb?
Sounds good. Sounds good. So the second one, would you like to refresh my memory? The second one for today is?
Well, we can do a few. Why don't we do take after?
Okay. Oh, I really like this one. Okay. So take after is a very, I like this one. It's a nice phrasal verb to use. So to take after means, now we usually use this in your family. So you're talking perhaps about your parents, that you have inherited certain characteristics from. Now you have to be careful with take after, because Jacob can correct me if he feels differently, but this is more about your behavior, the way you act. So it's not necessarily the appearance. So I wouldn't say, for example, I take after my mother's eyes, for example. You would say, I take after her in my sense of humor, in my my intelligence, not my case, right? So you take after somebody in the way you act. Example that springs to mind is my father and my sister are both very similar. They're both a little bit stubborn. I hope she's not watching, or he's not watching. They're both a little bit stubborn, and they would probably admit that. So they sometimes have a run-in. Run-in is a way you can expression for an argument, because they take after each other. They take after each other in terms of their stubbornness.
And I would say in my family too, I think, as if you've been following me for a while, Lloyd certainly knows this too. I'm not a very good sleeper. I'm not a very good sleeper. I don't do well in the middle of the night. I'm always waking up. So it's very difficult for me to sleep through the night. I take after my mom in that way. My mom is also not a good sleeper. I take after my mom. So I'm not a good sleeper. I take after my mom. I seem to have inherited that trait, that characteristic from my mom, to take after. If you guys would like to try using this in a sentence, I see one from Kanan. I take after my father in the way of eating. Now it's not clear if that means you.
No, you could that could work. Yeah, I take after my father since we both have a big appetite.
Well, it's not clear from the sentence if it's a big appetite or maybe a small appetite, right?
Oh, okay, I see. Yeah. I don't eat much like my father. I take after my father in that respect. So taking after somebody is having a similar characteristic. Now, when I was thinking about this phrasal verb, Jacob, I was thinking it's only for characteristics in terms of personality and behavior. would you also say you could use it for appearance? Because
I would say,
for me, that sounds a little bit strange, but maybe you have a different opinion.
well, here's my opinion. Here's what I think. I think you can, but there's a perfect example right here. So calmly, silently, just left a comment that says, I take after my mother's eye color. Now, I wouldn't say that. That sounds a little strange to me. I would probably say something like, let's imagine her mother has brown eyes. Say, I have brown eyes like my mother. You could say something like, I take after my mother that way, maybe. But you
Yeah, I
wouldn't
would
say
just rather, I would
after.
rather say, I would say it like this, right? I say it like this. I have, I'm trying to think, not in my case, I don't think, in case you can see, I have green eyes. Jacob has brown eyes, I think. And I don't have, yeah, my father has blue eyes, my mother has brown eyes, like Jacob. But if you have the same eye color as your mother or father, you could say, I have my mother's eyes. I would say like that. Wow, you have your mother's eyes, you have your father's eyes. That sounds more natural, more common than you take after your father or mother in your eyes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would agree. So Ani Seglin, who just wrote, I take after my father's nose, I would say, I have my father's nose, like Lloyd
Exactly.
said.
Yeah. You can say, I have my father's nose, I have my mother's eyes, I have my grandmother's smile. You know, perhaps could be grandparents as well, but usually for
Yeah.
parents. But you know, could continue.
Why don't we do one more here, and then we're going to head over to our private group. If you are joining us right now, if you don't know what our private group is or what we're talking about, I'm Jacob, he's Lloyd. We are from English TV Live. We have a private community for English language learners just like you. We will be launching this to the public soon. Right now, the best thing you can do is go into the description of this video, click on that link that says join our waitlist, and put your name and email into the form on the website. You'll be registered on the waitlist. You'll learn all about this fantastic opportunity that we have coming soon. So
That's right.
take
Don't
this
forget,
opportunity.
join the wait list. All right, so we do one more before we move
One
on.
more. What about take out?
Oh, okay. All right. There's a few different meanings you could have for this one, right? Take out.
There is.
Um,
So Lloyd,
hmm.
the other day, maybe this wasn't the other day. This was a couple of weeks ago. I went on a date with someone. Yeah, can you believe it? I met a girl.
You met a
Yeah.
girl, a real
Yeah,
girl, a real
a
life
real girl.
girl. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
and I took her out for dinner. Okay,
Sounds
I took
expensive.
her out for dinner. Yes. What's your opinion? Do you think the guy should pay on a first date? If you're taking someone out for dinner on a date, do you think the guy should pay?
I also had a recent experience where I took out a lady. This is about 3 months, not three, about 3 weeks ago, a month ago. And I also, yeah, I paid for everything. Yeah. And she wasn't really that thankful. You know what I mean? I think it's like this, right? I think that maybe it's fair if the man maybe buys the meal and perhaps the lady buys a coffee afterwards, something like that, something to make it a little bit more even. But I really don't think, especially these days, I mean, men and women are much more equal in many countries than they were before. I think it's a very old-fashioned thing that's not very fair for men, honestly.
I
um,
like doing.
you like doing, I'm sure you do.
Yeah.
For the first date, I'd say maybe, yeah, okay. But if you're in a relationship with somebody and you're taking them out again and again, and you're the only one spending the money, it doesn't really make, especially, you know, it's very common that the woman is earning more money than the man. So anyway, you can see how I feel about that. But generally, for the first date, I think it's fair enough to if you're taking her out, especially if you invited her. Yeah, if you
Right.
invited her and you're taking her out, then in that case maybe it's okay. Let us know in the comments. What do you think? Do you think the man should always pay the bill? Everybody, let us know.
And that's a good point too about this phrasal verb. So to take someone out, of course, means to go somewhere with that person, usually to dinner, a movie, a play, maybe, if you're old-fashioned, who knows, somewhere entertaining. And usually, if you take someone out, usually what that implies, there are social norms about this, and people have debates about it, like Lloyd and I just started discussing. But usually, if you are the person who's taking the other person out, it's implied that you're paying for the bill. Would you agree?
Yeah, and it's usually the man who is taking. It sounds kind of strange. I think I don't know if a woman is taking out a man. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Perhaps that will change.
Supatra says, I think the man and woman should share the payment. Thank you, Supatra. All right, virtual high five. Very nice. Janet wants to know more about the lady from the date. Well, there was no second date. If that's any clue for you there.
Yeah.
All right,
for me
but
either,
takeout.
so I guess.
Sorry to interrupt. Take out is an interesting phrasal verb because there's a few different meanings. So one of them is the one we just discussed when you take somebody out to dinner, but there's a few other meanings as well. So one could be just basically for example, take your phone out of your pocket. Take out your phone. Hey, take out your phone. Maybe the teacher could say, hey, take out your pencils. We've got to study now. Take out the trash. This causes a lot of arguments between couples. Take out the trash. Any other examples spring to mind, Jacob?
Nothing really jump into mind. I think you did a pretty good job there, but it does have multiple meanings. I mean, did you mention this? I kind of zoned out for a second, but as a noun too, take out?
Oh, yes. So if you feeling a bit lazy, you don't really want to cook, or you don't really want to eat at the restaurant either, you can go and get a takeout. So in that case, as Jacob said, it's a noun form. So not a verb form, it's a noun form. Hey, let's have a takeout tonight. Let's just have a takeout. I don't feel like cooking. Let's get a takeout. Let's get a Chinese takeout.
Do you use the article in British English? Do you say a takeout?
Yes.
Over here, we wouldn't use
You wouldn't say
the
that?
article.
In Canada, you wouldn't say that?
No, we'd say let's get takeout.
Oh, okay. That's an interesting difference for you there, everybody.
We're learning stuff every day too.
Yeah, in Canada, they've got a bit of a stranger version.
Over there, it's a little weird. Over there. Yeah.
Over in Canada, they're getting confused. But so in British English, we would say a takeout. I would like to have a takeout.
Right.
It's the proper way. But it's up to you. You can choose which one you want. And there's one more meaning for takeout as well. So, yes, you can get a pizza takeout, Chinese takeout, whatever it happens to be. Takeout can also mean, now this is quite a crazy one, it means to kill somebody. Now, usually as an assassination. So let's say, for example, the mafia has somebody there, there's an enemy of theirs, and they want to take them out. They would maybe pay somebody to go and shoot, I don't know. But that's another one you should know. So to take somebody out.
It's funny that you say that because right now I'm rewatching, meaning I've watched it before, but I'm watching it again. I'm rewatching one of my favorite shows, well, probably my favorite show of all time, The Sopranos. And The Sopranos is all about
a lot of taking out.
Yeah. They eat a lot of takeout too. So they eat a lot of takeout and they take out a lot of people.
And also,
Anyway.
For the football fans out there, we had the Champions League. I know Jacob's not a football fan, but last weekend, 2 weeks ago, we had the Champions League final, Liverpool against Real Madrid. And one of the controversial moments in that game was that the player for Real Madrid, Sergio Ramos, took out one of the star player for Liverpool, Mohamed Salah. He's the star player for Liverpool. He was the big hope for Liverpool, the top goal scorer, and Sergio Ramos basically took him out. He pushed him down, then he was injured, and he had to leave the game. So you could do that in a sports. I know in Canada, hockey is huge, right? A lot of people take each other out there as well.
Was he actually injured, or was he just pretending to be injured, like is so common in
No,
soccer?
but in this case he was crying. Because he wanted to play in the final, right? And he was injured, so he had to leave. Yeah, unfortunately.
Well, it
Anyway,
was
that's
unfortunate.
about it, I think. Shall we
Yeah, should we
move over
wrap
to
this
the
up?
private group?
We're going to do that. So, you guys, Lloyd and I right now, we're going to move over to our private community at English TV Live. If you would like to become part of this private community, once it is open to the public, make sure, one more time, go to the description of this video. Click on the link that says join the waitlist. You'll be taken to our website. Enter your name and email into the form, and that's all you have to do. You'll just wait. You'll hear from me. I'll send out an email very soon. And did I miss anything, Lloyd? How was that?
That's about it. EnglishTVLive.com to join the waiting list. All right, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us, and
Take
we'll see you again
care,
very
everyone.
soon.
Take care. Take care.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
That's another good one. All right. Bye bye.